James Field. This is Joe Black along with Bob Day. The first game of the 1994 season. The captains are out on the field for the coin toss. And the captains tonight are Ray Peace and Marcus Amos for the Bearcats. We're short of a Greenville roster, so we'll try to give you some names as the evening progresses, but bear with us. We only have about 5 or 6 names that the visiting coaches provided us. Let me give you the starting lineup for the defense before the coin toss, and Ed will take it down to you on the field. Whenever you want to jump on in there, we have an additional feature. If you've just joined us this year, Ed Hebert will be on the sideline for some sideline reports to add to our dimension and further excitement in Bearcat football. At left end, number 81, 6'5", 250 solid pounds, Josh Manning. At left tackle, one of the captains tonight, 6'2", 205, Ray Peace. At one linebacker, Victor Robinson, 5'9", 205, a senior. The other linebacker, Richard Anderson, 5'9", number 59, 5'10", 180-pound junior. At right tackle, Matt Turner, a 6'3", 205 junior. And at right end, 6'3", 225-pound, returning starter for the third year, Randall Anders. At the safeties, Corey Mason, 5'10", 165 pounds. Kevin Stinson, 5'10", 190. At the corners, Kenny Wright at left corner, 6'2", 190-pound senior. And there's the coin toss. Ed, what do you got down there? And Ed, you've won your first coin toss of the year. Good job down there. Continuing with the starting lineups, at free safety, number 39, 5'10", 175-pound senior, Matt Willis. At the right corner, Michael Green, 6'2", 175 pounds, also a senior. The Bearcat defensive lineup, very talented, very experienced, not many new faces, and very quickly the offense. At left end, David Smith, 5'6", 150-pound junior. Lance Lear, 5'11", 220-pound junior. At the left tackle, Jodan Martin, 3-year returning starter, 6'1", 230 senior. At left guard, Andrew James. At the center spot, 5'10", 180 pounds. At right guard, 6'1", 225-pound junior, Todd DeMoss. At right tackle, 5'10", 205-pound junior, Michael Gillum. And at the right end, J.P. Love, 6'4", 200-pound senior. At one running back, Marcus Amos, number 22, 5'10", 145-pound junior. Trotter Hunt at a wingback, Scotty Roan. I'll give you the rest of the starting lineup in just a moment, together with the introduction of the well-known quarterback. As we're about to, well, we have a little delay. I can go ahead and finish that up. And another running back, Scotty Roan, 6 foot, 185-pound junior. The kicker will be Matt Willis. And the quarterback, Bo Meeks, number 16, 170-pound junior. Some 900 yards behind the passing record of Brad Laird at Ruston High School as we begin the season. And here for the play-by-play is Bob Day.
Thank you, Joe, and here we go. Welcome to the 1994 season, and the foot's into the ball and the kickoff, and this season is underway, and it's taken by a short man up at the 35-yard line, out across the 30, out across the 40 to about the 42-yard line, and that's where the Bearcats will take it over. First down and 10. That was T.J. Bryan on the return of the opening kickoff of 1994.
Bob, that was just a spinning kick that Bryan, the backup quarterback, picked up on the about 36, 37-yard line. Quick fumbled it for just a moment, and here's the first play of the game. Bearcats with excellent field position.
First down, 10 to go. The wing goes to the right side, split in out that way. Everyone else in tight for the Bearcats. Behind Bo Meeks, handoff over the right side, across the 45 out to about the 48-yard line. Hustles upfield is number 22 on the carry, and that's Marcus Amos. By the way, if you're in the stands tonight and you're hungry, the band parents wanted us to remind you that they've got a big concession stand at the south end of the stadium. They've got sausage on sticks, chili dogs, Cokes, hamburgers, pizza, all the goodies to go along with it to enjoy the ball game tonight. Second down, about 4 yards to go. Resting at the 48-yard line of the Bearcats. Bo Meeks, hands off, coming around this left hand. A big hole across midfield. He's going to go all the way. Number 22 on the second carry of the season, Marcus Amos for 52 yards on the initial touchdown of 1994.
Bob, a good kick-out block that time by DeMoss. Amos had to hold up for just a moment. DeMoss stayed with his man, threw a good block, kicked it out, and nobody was there to touch him after that.
A beautiful play carried out by the Ruston Bearcat offensive unit on a handoff from Bo Meeks to Marcus Amos for 52 yards. And Matt Willis in to try the point after out of the hold of Bo Meeks. And Bo's got a knee down at the 10-yard line. It's 6-0 Bearcats right now. And here's the snap, the placement, the kick gets up in the air, and it's perfect. So with 11-14 still to play in this opening quarter, it's the Bearcats 7 and the Greenville Hornets nothing. A 60-second break. You're listening to Bearcat football.
Left to go in the first quarter. The Bearcats draw first blood in your basic short drive. 2 plays, 46 seconds off the clock. A 57-yard drive capped off by Marcus Amos on a 52-yard sprint down the hash mark. And here's the kick, Bob.
Josh Manning gets a foot into it. It's a short one down to about the 33-yard line. Picked up there by number 11, and he is knocked to the ground in a quick hurry by a whole host of Ruston Bearcats hustling down on coverage as they have taken a quick 7-0 lead. And Ed, that was just out of the blue. Lightning struck early. £250 he's worth. It's first down and 10 yards to go at their own 34-yard line for the Hornets. Double wing set up, get it off to the fullback. Plows his way out across the 35, up across the 40, still fighting for yardage. Out to about the 42-yard line. He's going to come up just about a yard shy of a first down. So a strong run right there, Joe, by that big fullback, number 44, and he carries the name of Royal Bell.
Well, that was a royal run because he was hit hard after about 4 yards, Bob, and he kept dragging tacklers with him and picked up that extra 5 on his own, or 4, so 2nd and 2 on the Greenville 42.
He could be a handful tonight. He's a senior and 230 pounds. And here he comes again over this right side, but nothing there this time. He's still going to be just about a yard shy of the first down as that front hit him that time. And getting up off that pile is also linebacker Victor Robinson.
And Richard Anderson and Ray Peace also went on the play. You can just about, as we said last week in the Jamboree, close your eyes and imagine number 33, Victor Robinson, around the ball.
On everything. 10 minutes, 10 seconds to play here in this opening period. 7-0. Bearcats out in front quickly in the first minute of the ball game. Third down, about a yard to go. Give it to that fullback once again, and he is going to be knocked down, I believe, just about a half yard shy, but we've also got flags on the ground.
Number 42, number 33, Victor Robinson.
It's not a big week that way.
Okay.
That was your basic first flag, wave-off flag, call of the year. I don't know why they throw the flags, but he threw it and he put it back in his pocket. I guess he was practicing. He didn't have a jamboree.
That's right. Okay, it's fourth down and maybe a foot to go for a first down up near their own 44-yard line, they being the Hornets. Double wing set up once again, split end out to the left side. That big fullback's back there, and he's got it, and he's got a yard for his first down up to about the 44.5, maybe closer to the 45-yard line. But at any rate, it's going to be first down and 10 on the shoulders of that big fullback, Royal Bell.
Obviously, Greenville thought early that they wanted to take a chance. They know that they have their hands full with the Bearcats, who scored early. They went for the first down in their own territory and succeeded. First and 10 at their own 45. 9:13 left to go in the first quarter.
That defensive front four, huge in size, with those bookend defensive ends, and a little cut back over that left side, and a big hole over there for number 34, and he is going to be ridden down inside the 40-yard line of the Bearcats after a big gain by Gary Bush on the carry around the left side for the Hornets of Greenville, Mississippi. It's first down and 10 to go at the Bearcat 37-yard line.
Bob, after that hole opened up, it looked like he could have gone a lot further. The secondary converged, but there was a big gaping hole on the left side of the offensive line for Greenville.
So, all we've heard about this Bearcat defense now all summer long, they're going to be tested early here. And around this right side, a little counter play inside the 35-yard line down to about the 33, where Josh Manning finally was able to put number 5 on the ground, and that's Willie McVeigh.
Obviously, it's too early to say, but Greenville is not intimidated. They're moving the ball well. Second down and let's call it 6 on the Bearcat 33-yard line. 8:20 to go in the first quarter.
7-0 Bearcat lead, but that's being threatened right now with the Hornets on the move. Same formation, double wing, fullback sitting back by himself, and the quarterback on the little reverse counter play, and he's going to be knocked down back outside the 35, around the 37, and that's going to bring up third down back close to 9 yards to go.
Victor Robinson stayed at home. It was a counter play coming back to the right side after the fake to the left, but Robinson stayed at home, made the good tackle, throws him for a loss, bringing up about a 3rd and 9 on the Bearcat 37-yard line.
7:45 and counting here in this first period, and 3rd and 9. Here come the Hornets. Same formation, double wides out, wing T set up, and a lone fullback in the backfield. Men coming in motion to this right side, and the quarterback drops it straight back. He's got a man open on that left sideline. He's down the sideline. He is inside the 10-yard line, down near the 7-yard line, where it's going to be 1st and goal to go for the Hornets of Greenville, Mississippi.
The receiver eluded Green at the 30-yard line, took off, looked like he was headed for a touchdown. Matt Willis with a touchdown-saving tackle, but the Hornets have the ball 1st and goal at the Bearcat 7-yard line, down 7-0 with 7:25 to go in the first quarter.
Well, it was 35-0 last year. The Bearcats over the Hornets, but it may not be that way this year. And here come the Hornets with already one game under their belt, a tie last week against Jackson Lanier, 13-13. And that big fullback, he's going to be hit and knocked down back out around the 10-yard line. I believe they'll give his forward progress to about the 8-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal from the Bearcat 8.
Robinson, Anderson, and Willis in on the tackle, and Bob, to show, as we talked about last week in the Jamboree, the exchange of offensive and defensive players. Joe Dan Martin is going in on this goal line situation.
We'll see them all playing a little bit of this and a little bit of that all year long, so don't be surprised what names and what numbers you hear on offense or defense. But it's 2nd down and goal at the Bearcat 8-yard line. The ball resting just about halfway between the 2 hash marks. Man in motion to the left. Quarterback dropping straight back. Shoots the ball into the end zone just off the fingertips of number 34. It was intended for Gary Bush.
And, Bob, he was wide open. The pass was poorly thrown. The wide receiver was actually coming out of the backfield. The running back was wide open at the goal line. That had touchdown written all over it. The quarterback just misfired.
And we've got a timeout on the field, so a break in the action with 6:27 to play here in this opening period. It's Ruston 7 and the Hornets of Greenville nothing. A break coming for 30 seconds. You're listening to Bearcat Football.
Quarter of play in this opening game for the Bearcats 1994 season. The second game for the Greenville Hornets. The Bearcats are on top 7-0, scoring early on a 52-yard Marcus Amos run. The point after was good by Willis, but the Hornets have come back after converting a 4th down deep, or in their own territory, and they're threatening with 3rd down and goal to go on the Bearcat 8-yard line, down 7-0 with 6:27 to go in the first quarter of play. And a Bearcat timeout as the defense is regrouped. Bob?
Joe, they've got a couple of big fullbacks that they have been ushering in back and forth out there. Of course, big number 34, that's Gary Bush, but the fullbacks are number 32, Elijah Johnson. He is 190 pounds. And as we said, the other one, Royal Bell, he is 230 pounds. So both of them are going to be a handful. 3rd and goal from the 8-yard line. Man comes in motion to this near side. Quarterback dropping straight back. Rush is coming from Manning, and a man wide open in the end zone for the touchdown. That is, number 5 it is, and that is Willie McVeigh on the score.
And, Bob, you said it right. He was wide open. Nobody within about 3 yards of him. Bullet pass by the quarterback. Pressure put on by Josh Manning, but not enough. And the Hornets score was 6:21 to go in the first quarter and attempting to tie it up with the point after.
So, the defense has been scored on early here. That won't sit well with the coaching staff with this high-powered defensive unit that they're fielding this year. With all of the experience out there, we'll have to wait and see what comes along. And now the Hornets are to attempt the point after, but they have to take a timeout because they couldn't get all the folks in the right place in time. So another break in the action with 6:21 to play. It's Ruston 7, Greenville 6. 30-second break. You're listening to Bearcat Football.
Quarter of play. The Greenville Hornets have scored on a touchdown pass of 8 yards. The Hornets had too many players on the field and had to call a timeout. So we're waiting for the point after situation here. And Bob, as you mentioned, the highly touted Bearcat defense was scored on just about at will by the Hornets, and as you said, not going to sit well with the Bearcat coaching staff.
Well, we'll see now what that will do to the second drive of the Hornets tonight as they're trying to tie it up. Number 16, the quarterback will hold. That's Terrell Hemphill. And waiting the snap from center. And here it is. It's placed, it's kicked, it's up, and it is good. So we've got a brand new football game with 6:21 to play in the opening period. It's Ruston 7, Greenville 7. A 60-second break. You're listening to Bearcat Football. John Provenza to kick it off in a 7-7 football game, and it sails over to the right side, taken over there at the 20-yard line, coming upfield, a big hole, and he breaks into the clear at the 50-yard line, and Marcus Amos is carrying it all the way back for a touchdown for the Bearcats. A 77-yard run on the kickoff return, so the Bearcats have struck quickly for 2 touchdowns here in the opening period after the defense has just given up a drive to the Greenville Hornets. So it's Ruston 13 and Greenville 7.
Bob, Ed had some comments for us down on the sideline that Coach Dunbar was not too happy, but he didn't have much time to express his displeasure to his troops because we scored so quickly. Ed?
What do you say, Ed? Okay, here's the kick for the point after, and it's good. So as they come back upfield, it's Ruston 14, but we've got a flag down, so hang on just a second. Apparently it's against Greenville, and it is. So the penalty is declined. It's Ruston 14, Greenville 7 with 6:08 to play here in the opening period, and what looks like it's going to be a whale of a football game. Let's take another 60-second break. You're listening to Bearcat Football.
Quarter of play, Marcus Amos just scored on a kickoff return of 77 yards, and I'll give you Greenville's scoring drive in a moment, and here's the kick.
Josh Manning gets the foot into it. It's going to come up around the 20-yard line. Picked up there to 21 by number 32. Trying to find some running room to the 22, and that's as far as he is going. And that was Elijah Johnson on the return for the Hornets. And so they'll put it in play as they'll mark business at the 22-yard line of Greenville. They're down once again, this time by a score of 14-7 to the Bearcats.
James Drayton downfield to make the tackle for the Bearcats, and he stays in at defense. Drayton, a 5'10", 190-pound junior. 6:02 to go in the first quarter of play, in what is a high-scoring event so far, Bob.
It is that. Terrell Hemphill, your quarterback for the Hornets. They come up in that same formation that they've run all night long. Man comes in motion to this near side, and a handoff to him. Number 5 coming around this right side, out across the 30-yard line, up close to the 32. That's Willie McVeigh on the carry.
Kevin Stinson with containment that time, but he needed some help from the inside. It wasn't quite there for the big gain for the Hornets. Bob, they had a very consistent drive on the first possession, 66 yards, 11 plays. They took almost 5 minutes off the clock. A steady, grinded-out offense, but steady, and they scored, and they started off this second drive the same way, a 9-yard pickup.
On first down, bringing up second and a yard to go at their own 31-yard line for the Hornets. Second and a yard, and a little movement in the line, but, well, we see a flag now. A little movement on that left side of the Hornet offensive line, and let's see if that's what's going to be called. And one Hornet slow to get up.
Ed, you were talking a moment ago about the offensive coaches for the Bearcats on that first drive that they had in Amos's run. What did they say?
Very well could be. Well, a a 5-yard penalty has just been stepped off against them. Brings up 2nd down and 6. And quick pass out to the right left flat. And tipped at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd down and 6 yards to go as Josh Manning trots back out on the field.
Bob, I couldn't tell. That might have been Randall Anders with the block and almost with the interception, Corey Mason, bringing up a 3rd down situation for the Hornets. 4:58 to go in the first quarter play. The Bearcats on top, 14-7.
3rd and 6. The ball resting on their own 26-yard line. Same formation as they come to the line. Hemphill is your quarterback. Looks over that Ruston defense, man in motion to the left, and here comes that little counter play, but this time, forget it. Drop back inside the line of scrimmage at the 23-yard line, so it's going to ring up 4th down and long for the Hornets, and this time they'll just about have to kick it away, Joe. They mark it at the 24.
Good defensive job that time by Richard Anderson, another one of the inside linebackers replacing Kerry Brown off of last year's squad, and the Hornets are going to be forced to punt the line of scrimmage at their own 25-yard line. 4th down and 9 with 4:29 to go in the first quarter. The Bearcats on top, 14-7, and back to receive the punt for the Bearcats will be Kenny Wright.
And their quarterback, Hemphill, stands back in deep punt formation back at his own 12-yard line. Gets a good snap. Rush coming, but he gets a high punt. And it's going to drop and take a Bearcat bounce back inside Greenville's own end of the playing field on their side of the 50-yard line. They'll blow it dead at the Greenville 49, so excellent field position for the Bearcats as they'll take over 1st and 10 at the Hornet 49, leading 14-7. And Ed, things ought to be a little more happy on the sidelines with that defensive unit coming out this time. First down and 10. Bo Meeks has the Bearcats to the line. Wing set to the left. And a handoff on this little wingback reverse down the right side. He's inside the 40. Inside the 35-yard line. Down to about the 33-yard line goes David Smith on a big first down carry for 1st and 10 yardage. They'll mark it at the 33-yard line of the Hornets.
Bob, David Smith is not big at 5'6", 150, but he's lightning quick, and he showed it on that play as his jersey was about halfway torn off. And the Bearcats with another good offensive surge, 1st and 10 at the Greenville 33.
Set up this time in an I formation with a wing set to the right side. Split the left end out just a little bit to this near side. Wingman comes in motion and flags go down before the ball can be snapped. 3:43 to play here in this opening quarter. Ruston up on top by a score of 14-0 and threatening to add more as an offside penalty is going to be called against the Hornets from Greenville. That will put them 5 yards further downfield and mark the ball now at the 28-yard line of Greenville, where that will be 1st down and 5 to go for the Bearcats. Up 14-7, here they come. The ball resting on the far hash. Split the left end out to this near side and put a wing to the right side from an I formation. Bo looks over, puts the wingman in motion to this near side, and Meeks on a handoff to the fullback straight up the middle. Big hole coming to this left side, and inside the 15, down to about the 11-yard line goes Victor. No, that's not Victor. That is Scotty Roan on the carry. So it's 1st and 10 at the 11.
You couldn't tell much difference between the burst of speed of Marcus Amos and Scotty Roan on that. And again, the Bearcats have deep number of players in the running back position, and it showed on that play.
1st and 10, ball just outside the Hornet 10-yard line. Right end this time split out with a wing to the left and a pitch back to the tailback, and here comes Marcus Amos looking for room. He's to the 5. He's to the goal line. He's going to be just about a yard shy of another touchdown, and they will have to take a long look and see if this is going to be 1st and goal. The yardstick is set up on about the 1-yard line, and that's just about where he is. It will be 2nd down, though, maybe a foot to go for a 1st down.
And Bob Randall Anders, normally a defensive end, coming in for a blocking position, I think probably at a back position for the Bearcats as they line up Anders at the right tight end.
Okay, full house backfield. Give it off over the right side to Amos, and Marcus Amos has scored again, this time from a yard out. It is Ruston 20 and Greenville 7, still with 2:24 to play here in this opening quarter.
Well, Bob, we were talking about defense, and we've seen nothing but points flashing up on the board. I hope they change the light bulbs on the scoreboard because it's lighting up like a firework display.
Well, that's what everybody came to see tonight. Maybe a defensive battle with Ruston's strong defensive unit and experienced defense, but right now it has been the offense shining. Here's the snap, the placement, kick, it's up and it's good. As they come back upfield, 2:24 to play in the opening period. It's Ruston 21, Greenville 7. A 60-second break. You're listening to Bearcat football. Josh Manning has his foot into it. It goes down to the 12-yard line. Taken down there, number 33. Heads across the field. Looks for some running room over there, and he's not going to find much and will be dropped at about the 18-yard line. Returning was Samson Wilson for the Hornets, and they'll take over 1st and 10 at they'll mark it either the 18 or the 19.
Bob, that last drive by the Bearcats took only 1:43 off the clock, 49 yards on 5 plays. Amos capping it off with his 3rd touchdown of the night. Amos has 4 carries for 68 yards, coupled with the 77-yard kickoff return.
Not a bad game here in the first 10 minutes of the first quarter. 1st down and 10. The ball at their own 18-yard line for the Hornets. Man comes in motion to this near side. The ball resting on the far hash mark. Hemphill drops back. Hemphill's going to be rushed. Hemphill gets away from one tackler. Hemphill finally gets the ball away, and it's complete at the 30. Coming this near side. Look for room to the 35, and we've got a flag down, and the ball is going to be resting at the Greenville 35-yard line, but we've got a flag on top of all of that.
I think Kevin Stinson was clipped, Bob. If I'm not mistaken, he was closing in for the tackle, and I hope my first call of the penalty of the year is correct.
And you've got it right on the nose. A clipping penalty is coming up against the Greenville Hornets. Well, Hemphill got away from a couple of would-be tacklers in the backfield and finally got to pass away and caught the man, but it's going to be all for naught as this big gainer will be carried back on the clipping penalty. And things ought to look bright down there for the offensive side of the football for the Bearcats after this showing here in just 10 minutes of play. That's right.
Bob,
Amen.
New player in on defense for the Bearcat, Rhett Reeves, a 6'4", 265-pound senior at tackle.
Oh, man, there's a lot of him. Man in motion to the left side on a 1st down and 9, and a drop inside the 20-yard line, back around the 16. Big defensive play right there, Joe.
Well, a good job on the coverage by the Bearcats on the kickoff and an excellent job following up on the first defensive play, and that's what we were looking for. And negative yardage, and the Bearcats rise to the occasion with still in the first quarter, 1.5 minutes to go. The Bearcats on top 21-7.
Richard Anderson, one of those linebackers for the Bearcats, was right there, Johnny, on the spot. 2nd down and about 12.5. In motion to this near side. Hemphill. Now that little wing-back reverse carry, and inside the 15 goes the ball carrier down at the 14-yard line. So, Joe, right now it looks like this defensive unit is playing up to par of what everyone thought they would be before this game started.
And Randall Landers coming out, Peace, Turner, Josh Manning going back in. A lot of shuffling on the front 4. Good job that time also by Jason Roberts. The ball was almost fumbled. That slowed the play up, and that brings up a 3rd and 15 or so with 45 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Fresh numbers in that defensive unit constantly for the Bearcats. Hemphill dropping back to the 5. Rush is coming. Now he puts his arm in it and slings it as far as he can, and it's going to be intercepted at the 45-yard line. Big number 44, Kenny Wright for the Bearcats, picks it off. The first interception of the year for Ruston as they get their first turnover from Greenville with 28 seconds to play here in the opening period, up by a score of 21-7.
And, Bob, that's one of those interceptions you wonder how it's going to pan out on what would have happened. They would have been forced to punt, and the Bearcats might have gotten better field position, but not to take anything away from Wright. A tremendous catch. It was not an easy one, and the Bearcats, again, with good field position on their own 44, up 21-7 with 28 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Ball rest on this near hash mark. High formation. Amos dots the I, and Amos faked the handoff, and Bo Meeks with his first pass. Wide open is that big tight end. Inside the 30, down to the 29-yard line goes J.P. Love on the pass, catch, and run from Bo Meeks.
Bob, a good pattern by Love that time. He was wide open, and JP's a big target, 6'4", 200. Excellent hands. He cradled the ball well. A good run after the reception, and the Bearcats are threatening as we are still in the first quarter of play.
Well, we saw Bo's arm last week in the Jamboree, and it looks stronger than ever this year, and he just completed his first attempt of the year. And a handoff to the fullback, cuts over this left side, finds some hole, finds some running room to the 20, to the 16-yard line, hustling downfield, Cornelius Sims on the carry. And that's the end of the first period of play as the Bearcats have taken control, and they've got it 1st and 10 to start the second quarter. They're up by a score of 21-7. Let's take a 60-second break. You're listening to Bearcat Football.
Greenville 12-yard line. We're about to start the second quarter of play. And, Ed, you had a comment on that last interception.
Okay, 1st down and 10 for the Bearcats at the 12-yard line of the Hornets. Bo Meeks rolls this near side. Got a man out there, but it's incomplete. Intended for number 14, Cornelius Sims, down around the 10-yard line. So they will bring the ball back. It'll be 2nd down and 10 yards to go instead of the 12-yard line. The ball, I believe, resting on about the 17-yard line.
Well,
17-yard line of the Hornets. 2nd down and 10.
Scoreboard says 12, but you're right, Bob. It's on the 17.
Yeah.
2nd down and 10. The Bearcats on top, 21-7. We've just begun the second quarter.
Ball on the far hash. Put a wide out to this near side, a man in a slot to this near side, and also a wing. And hand it off up the middle, and not much is there. Maybe down to about the 15-yard line. And that's going to be good for a couple of yards by Sims, and that's going to be all. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 8 yards to go at the Hornet 15-yard line.
Bob, Coach Gillum was telling us before the game to get ready to call out a lot of numbers tonight. We've already seen that on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, he said we would use the whole roster tonight. Well, probably every game. 3rd down and 8 at the 15-yard line of the Hornets. Same formation set up, wide out to this near side, man in the slot, and Bo is dropping back, trying to set up a little screen pass. He's got it to the 5, and to the goal line, close to it, maybe a couple of yards shy. Goes number 28, Dean, on the reception for Bo Meeks. They're going to mark it at the 4-yard line, but at any rate, it's 1st down and goal to go.
That's Mwalamu Dean.
Mwalamu Dean on the reception.
Good job that time of faking by Meeks, and a good job of blocking by the front by the Bearcats, setting up the screen. 1st and goal on the, let's call it 3.5-yard line.
Oh, you get technical, don't you?
Well, I couldn't tell if it was the 3 or the 4.
Okay, that's good. Handoff over that left side to number 20. He's going to be near the goal line, maybe to the 2-yard line. And on the carry, Derek Moreland. As you can see, continuing to call out new names just about on every play as they shuffle in and out, in and out, in and out on this offensive unit of the Bearcats. Ed, you were down there. Where are we? Not you, first of all. 3-yard line. Okay, here we go. It'll be 2nd and goal at the 3. And hand it off over that left side. That is Sims. And Sims is down close to the 1-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal to go for the Bearcats at the Hornet 1.
It jammed up quick in that middle, and there you could tell that Sims thought he had a hole, and all of a sudden it just closed up on him as Marcus Roan trots onto the field. The speedster bringing in a play to Meeks with 9:55 to go in the first half, and the Bearcats on top 21-7 and threatening to score again.
Okay, Ed, we're on the 1-yard line now. At the 1-yard line, it's 3rd and goal to go for the Bearcats. Man in motion to this near side. Bo Meeks rolls out. He's got a man. Touchdown! It's 27-0. Derek Moreland on the catch with 9:32 to play here in the second period. Ruston 27 and Greenville 7. Good. It's been there a lot so far here in this game.
Bob, that was pretty good coverage by the Hornets for just a moment, but Moreland ran an excellent pattern mixed with a beautiful pass, and the Bearcats on top 27-7, and Willis trying for his 4th point after.
Out of the hole to Bo Meeks. It's snapped, it's placed, it's kicked, it's up, and it is good. It's Ruston 28 and Greenville 7. 9:32 to play in the first half. A 60-second break. You're listening to Bearcat football.
Deep kick.
Josh Manning gets his foot into it to kick off and take it down at the 10-yard line, heading upfield and slips and goes down at the 18-yard line. That's number 5 on the return, Willie McVeigh. 28-7, 9:25 to play here in this second quarter. Ed, you've got someone down there, and I know that's a happy fella. And the penalty is declined, Joe.
Too many men on the field. They declined the penalty. Bob, I wanted to comment on Josh Manning's kickoff. That was the mystery last year. Where was the ball going to go when Josh kicked off? And the first one was a little suspect, but that one was a classic end-over-end kick, very deep inside the 10, so that's a good sign.
But so far tonight, Josh has used the tee. That's something he never used last year. You know, he just laid the ball flat on the ground last year, and that's why nobody never knew where the thing was going or what kind of spin it would be taking. It is 1st and 10. The Bearcats almost jump, and now apparently they do as flags go down all over the field. 28-7, in case you're just joining us, the Bearcats on top of Greenville with still 9 minutes and 24 seconds left to play here in this second period. We've got a procedure call against Greenville, so that'll step 5 yards further back downfield against them, move the ball inside the 15, back to the 14-yard line, and it'll bring up 1st down and 15.
Well, Bob, you know that Coach Bales, the head coach for the Hornets, knows that the Hornets have to do something here. They're deep in their own territory. They're already down 21 points when they had tied the score 7-7, and this could be a big series for the Hornets, whether or not the door closes early or not.
See what this defensive team for the Bearcats can do with them right now, up already 28-7. A man comes in motion to this near side, pitch it back to the fullback, and he's going to be knocked down right around the line of scrimmage, around the 14-yard line. And that was Corey Mason on the stop for that Bearcat defensive unit. It'll bring up 2nd down and still close to 15.
Good job by Mason in an open field tackle that time. If he doesn't make that, the running back picks up another 6, 8, 10 yards. So good job by Corey Mason bringing up a 2nd down and again about 15 yards to go.
Ball resting right on their own 14-yard line of the Hornets. The ball on this near hash mark, 28-7. Bearcats on top.
Bob, I'm going to try to call new numbers as I can. Ben McFadden, senior, is in the lineup at a right defensive end.
For the Bearcats, man in motion to the right side. Hemphill pitches back to the fullback, number 32, trying that right side this time. Finds a hole over there and crosses the 20-yard line out to around the 23, but it's still going to bring a 3rd down and long yardage to go for the Hornets at their own 23-yard line. Clock moving along with 8:20 and counting left to play here in this second period.
Turner back into the ball game for the Bearcats. A possession down for Greenville. 3rd down and let's call it 5 on their own 23-yard line. 8:07 to go in the half. The Bearcats on top, 28-7.
Ben McFadden out of that defensive unit for the Bearcats. 3rd down, I think maybe about 6, maybe more like it, and it's going to be a lot longer than that to go with 4th down coming up as he is knocked down back around the 20-yard line. Maybe they'll give his forward progress to about the 21, but at any rate, it's going to be 4th down and about 8 yards to go for the Hornets, the ball at their own 21-yard line.
Matt Turner, Richard Anderson, and Corey Mason in on that tackle. A good job of team tackling and going to the ball by the Bearcats as they shuffle 4 new players into the lineup to receive this punt, and back to receive is Kenny Wright.
Terrell Hemphill back to do the punting, standing on his own 10-yard line for the Hornets. And as Joe said, Kenny Wright back to receive. Good high snap and a good high booming punt. Kenny Wright takes it at his 45. Looks for running room. Heads out to the left side to the 50, 45, 40. Down the sideline and going to be out of bounds inside the 35. Around the 34-yard line of the Hornets. Excellent field position once again coming up for the Bearcats at the Hornet 34-yard line, already up by a score of 28-7.
21-yard return that time by Kenny Wright. A defender was closing in on him, Bob, at the 50-yard line, and he put a good juke move on and picked up about another 16 yards based on that good move. And again, the Bearcats with phenomenal field position. 1st and 10 at the Greenville 34-yard line, 7:03 to go in the half. Up 28-7.
David Smith splits out this near side, put a wing on the left from the I formation. Bo Meeks drops straight back. Bo Meeks looks downfield. Bo Meeks got a man. It's complete inside the 20 down to around the 17 or 18-yard line. On the reception is Trotter Hunt for the Bearcats. 1st down and 10, and that offense, Joe, is on the move.
Bob Trotter had to reach behind him to his right side that time to pick up the pass. It was a little bit off target. He's got excellent hands, as we talked about in preseason. He showed it then. He juggled it a little bit, but held on to the ball. Excellent reception, good pass, 1st down for the Bearcats.
At the 18-yard line of the Hornets, 1st down and 10 to go. Wing set to the left side, I formation. Bo Meeks looks over the defense. Bo Meeks drops back. Bo Meeks looking downfield. Nope, a little guard around there, Joe. A little fake and a little funny stuff, but it didn't fool the Greenville Hornets.
Well, Bob, we caught it up here. Buddy Davis thought that Meeks had the ball, but we caught it up here. It was Joe Dan Martin on that little play, but they weren't fooled either, as we better go back to the drawing board on that one.
I think so.
But we have a 2nd down and 10 at the Greenville 19-yard line. 6:06 to go in the first half, and the Bearcats on top, 28-7.
Marcus Rowan in, Pat Frazier out for the Bearcats. Clock running, 5:59 and counting. Left to play here in this second period. Ruston up 28-7. 2nd down and 10 at the 18 of the Hornets. Bo Meeks in a shotgun formation. First time we've seen that. Screen pass set up over the left side. Running room, heading downfield to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown for the Bearcats. They say he scored. Number 28, Mwalamu for his 2nd score of the night.
Bob, he looked like when he got to the 10-yard line or so that he was shot out of a cannon. He really had a burst of speed. Again, as you mentioned, two, I'm not going to call them trick plays, but unusual sights for the Bearcats. The guard around played before, and I don't know that we've seen the shotgun.
We didn't see the shotgun all last year.
Bo Meeks has been the quarterback since early sophomore year, and I don't know if we've ever seen the shotgun.
That's the first time. Okay, we'll try the point after. It's 34-7. 5:37 left in the first half. And the kick is up, and the kick is good. It's Ruston 35, Greenville 7. Let's take a break for 60 seconds. You're listening to Bearcat Football.
Go in the half, Bob.
Square Toe gets it foot into it and gets it all the way down to the 10. Taken down there up to the 15, 20. Looks for running room. Heads to the far sideline. And it's going to be across the 20, out of bounds across the way around the 25. So that's where they'll put it in play. 1st down and 10 yards to go. Okay, Ed, I saw you down there eavesdropping a little while ago. What does the defense think right now? Okay, 1st down and 10 for the Hornets. The ball at their own 24-yard line. Down by a score of 35-7. Man in motion. Give it to him, and he's going to be knocked down at the line of scrimmage, trying to get around this left end, but can't cut the corner as that Bearcat defensive unit was there to meet him, led by number 54, Matt Turner.
And Randall Anders also in on that tackle. Bob, I wanted to comment on the kicking game. Matt Willis 5 for 5 on the points after, but they've been deep. Have you noticed that? The points after, he's got a lot of leg, and also Josh Manning to show the change from last year. Not only is he using the tee and kicking with a square toe, but he's kicking left-footed.
Yep. So it doesn't really matter to him. Just give him the ball and let him kick it, he said. Trying that right side this time. Maybe a yard pickup across the line of scrimmage, across the 25 up to about the 26. It's going to bring up third down and a long 8 yards to go for the Greenville Hornets as that defensive unit, Richard Anderson one time, one of those big linebackers leading the charge that time.
Zach Yates checking in, giving Victor Robinson a spell, and I think that's probably not only to rest him, but we saw him run the ball last week in the Jamboree. Joe Dan Martin checking in at a defensive tackle slot for the Bearcats.
4:18 and counting left here in this first half. 35-7 to Bearcats on a third down and 8 coming up for the Hornets from their own 26-yard line. Hemphill dropping back. Rush coming. Hemphill shoots it upfield. It's going to be incomplete. Intended for number 17, Montgomery, out about the 40-yard line. But good coverage that time to the Ruston defensive unit, led by number 45, All-State candidate Michael Green.
Bob, had he caught the ball or had the pass been a little bit better thrown, I think Green was in a position to strip it. As you said, an excellent job of defensive coverage by Michael Green as Kenny Wright is dropping back to receive the punt, standing just inside the midfield stripe at about his own 45. 4:05 to go in the first half. The Bearcats on top 35-7 and looking for more. Meeks is, by the way, before he goes back onto the field, 5 for 6 in the passing department for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Hemphill has been doing the punting. He's standing back on his own 15-yard line. Gets the snap, and this time an end-over-ender to Kenny Wright, and he fumbles it around. This time has to pick it up and heads to this near side. 45, he's to midfield, gets a big block. He's down the sideline to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, and we do not see a flag on the field.
Bob, give
63-yard punt return.
Give 3 of those points to Matt Turner because of that block he threw right about the midfield stripe. It looked like Wright was about to be tackled. He bobbled the ball. Well, he picked it up. He cut to his right, and there were about 2 or 3 would-be tacklers, and all of a sudden, number 54, Matt Turner, showed up and leveled those would-be tacklers, and the rest is history as the Bearcats go on top, 41-7, and you could hear the ooh and the ah.
And I was just going to ask, Ed, you were standing not too far from that block around midfield. Could you hear it?
Number 39, Matt Willis, back in the 64 after.
He took out about 3 of them there in one play, and it's 41-7. We've got a break in the action. Timeout on the field, 3:47 to play. Let's take a quick 30-second break. You're listening to Bearcat Football. In the nation in triple jumps this year.
Well,
he's a good track man, too.
He took about 5 or 6 jumps in that 63-yard punt return. Again, excellent block by Turner across the way and not singling just one player out, but that was the key block, but a good job by the entire Bearcat team, as after that initial wave, there was nobody within sight of Wright on that punt return, and Matt Willis is set to attempt his 6th point after of the night. 3:47 to go in the first half. The Bearcats on top, 41-7. And Bob, I look for T.J. Bryan very quickly.
Very quickly, yeah.
Next offensive series for the Bearcats, perhaps.
Here's a snap. It's placed. It's kicked. It's up. It's dead center. It's Ruston 42 and Greenville 7. A 60-second break. You're listening to Bearcat Football. Josh Manning splits into it. It's taken at the 14-yard line. Heading down the right sideline, but not for far. Out across the 20 to about the 23-yard line. And that's where the Hornets will put it in play with 3:40 left here in this first half. It has been all Bearcats. It's 42-7. This game was tied 7-7 early in the first period as the Bearcats quickly scored. Less than a minute gone in the ball game, but then the Hornets came back on a long, sustained drive and put some points on the board against this defensive unit. But since then, the Bearcats with 35 unanswered points to lead it 42-7.
Bob, actually, it was tied at the 6:17 mark of the first quarter, halfway through what looked like for just a moment, a fleeting moment, to be a close game. But as you mentioned, the Bearcats have shut the door since then.
First down and 10 for the Hornets. Hemphill, flags go down, and they're going to blow the play dead before it can get underway. And with 3:35, the clock stopped once again on a penalty with the flags on the ground. 42-7 our score. Heading toward halftime. Offsides against the Bearcats being called one of their few mistakes so far tonight, Joe.
That's right, Bob. They've regrouped very well. Again, Robinson getting a spell right now. Zach Yates trots onto the field. The only injury that we've had so far tonight is Derek writing the stats down here, Bobby. There's been too much happening. We're going to have to get a medic up here in the press box. That brings up a 1st down and 5 for Greenville, down 42-7. A little disheartened, the ball on their own 27-yard line.
Not too big a crowd across the way has followed this team over from Greenville, Mississippi. Of course, pretty long trip to come tonight. Hand off over the right side. About 3 yards, maybe 4 yards, up close to the 30-yard line on a big surge on that 1st down and 5 carry. It'll bring up 2nd down and about 1.5 yards, a couple of yards to go for the Hornets. The ball at their own 30-yard line following a 5-yard offside penalty against the Bearcats.
Bob, another number, James Drayton also in on that tackle with Zach Yates. So as we mentioned, we're going to call a lot of numbers tonight. Bear with us as we try to get everybody who gets into the game. 2nd and short.
Everybody with the uniform on will probably have some grass stains on those white jerseys, on those white pants tonight. The 2nd down and 2 carry up to about the 31-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and very, very short. Well, maybe he may have a 1st down on this play. We'll have to wait and see. It is 1st down and 10 to go for the Hornets. First one they've had in a long time at their own 32-yard line. 2:48. And the clock stopped as they moved the chains.
David Thomas was in on that tackle together with a host of tacklers. Also seeing action right now, number 40, J.P. Bozeman, a 5'9", 185-pound senior linebacker.
1st down and 10 at their own 32-yard line for the Hornets. Oh, he spreads them out this time, and Hiphill's dropping back. He's got them flooding to this right side, and the pass is going to be incomplete. It was intended for McVeigh over here in this left flat, but broke it up and will bring up 2nd down and 10.
J.P. Bozeman with good coverage on that. And Ed, you got something down on the sidelines for us?
And then probably shut it down for the rest of the night and put him a baseball cap on. Yeah, that's right. That's what I heard. 2nd down and 10 for the Hornets at their own 32-yard line. Hiphill drops back. Hiphill got a man out here, but it's incomplete. In and out of the hands of McVeigh up around the 40-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and 10. That stops the clock. 2:20 to play here in the first half. 42-7. All Bearcats, in case you're just joining us.
Again, coverage that time by Bozeman and Zach Yates. Checking into the ball game for the Bearcats, Graham Kozar, 5'10", 190-pound sophomore, and trotting off for the Bearcats is Ben McFadden. 2:20 to go in the first half. 3rd and long. The ball on the 32-yard line of Greenville, down 42-7.
3rd and 10. Coming up, facing Hemphill and the Hornets. Once again, he spreads him out. Lone setback behind him. Fullback pitches back to him, and he is up to about the 35-yard line. It's going to bring up 4th down, long yardage to go. That was Royal Bell, all 230 pounds of him on the carry, trying to get around this left end, and it will bring up 4th down and about 7 yards to go.
Yates, Roberts, and a little help from Rhett Reeves on that tackle, bringing up a 4th and about 7, let's say. The ball resting on near the 35-yard line. 1:52 and counting.
Derek
first half of play
is going to drop back and receive this punt, Joe.
And he's already scored once tonight, Bob. With this special team work, don't be surprised on what might develop as Kozar checking in on the punt receiving team.
Moreland is a 170-pound junior. Hemphill standing back at his own 23, gets the snap, one step, gets the foot into it, and it's going to the far side, and it's going to roll out of bounds, and let's see where they'll mark it at about the 28-yard line of the Bearcats, so that's where they'll put it in play. 1st down and 10, and no chance for a return that time.
Bob, one thing I've noticed on these special team plays, even with the starters on that 38-yard punt, no return, let's see, the Bearcats are going to take over on about their 28 or so. A lot of hustle down there. The starters that might have let up a little bit, like Ed said a few moments ago, Coach Dunbar was telling them not to relax, not to ease up, and a lot of intensity out there. So despite the big lead, a lot of hustle, a lot of desire on the part of all of these Bearcats who have seen action.
1:23 to play in the half. Bo Meeks and his offensive crew are back out. Splits the left end out, puts a wingman to this right side. First down and 10. Bo is back. Bo's going to limber that arm up once again. Heads over to the left side, and this time he's going to tug it and run with it, and hustles his way up to about the 30-yard line. And a gain of about 3. It'll bring up second down and 7, and you know that's what Coach Gillum does not want to see right now.
Patrick Frazier checking in at a receiver, and also, again, to emphasize the flip-flop of the defense and the offense, Richard Anderson checking in at a guard position, Bob.
Second down and 7. The ball on their own 30-yard line. 50 seconds to play. Hand off to this right side, and a big hole. Hustling out and up to the 49-yard line. Near midfield goes number 23, Scotty Road on the carry.
And, Bob, it was behind that block by Richard Anderson, who just came in at guard. Good job by the offensive front that time. And, again, as we mentioned, Mwalamu Dean, Marcus Amos, Scotty Roan, you name it, we go down the line. A lot of depth at the running back position, and we saw it again on that play.
First down and 10 up the own 49-yard line of the Bearcats. In motion to the left side. Pitches back to number 11. Got some blockers up front of him, and he's across midfield. Fumbles the ball on the play, and let's see. That was Marcus Roan on the carry, but I believe the Bearcats have got it back.
That was Marcus Roan on the carry. He was hit high. It looked like it almost could have been a face mask, and we lost it.
Greenville's ball.
18 seconds to go in the first half. 42-7 the Bearcats.
Greenville has it at just about 2 inches shy of the midfield stripe on their side of the playing field of the 50-yard line with 18 seconds to play. As Joe said, 42-7. It's been all Bearcats here in this football game in the first half tonight after the score was tied about the 6-minute mark of the first quarter. And, Ed, you're being flooded down there by band members.
Bob, that's the first mistake the Bearcats have really made tonight, and with 18 seconds to go in the first half of the first game, not bad.
Hemphill sends a man in motion to this near side. Hemphill drops back, looks downfield, still looking, puts it down there, and it's complete at the 30 and down at the 25-yard line. And a quick timeout for the Hornets with 7 seconds to play here in the first half. 42-7 Bearcats on top, and here comes that original starting defensive unit for the Bearcats as they want to keep them out of the end zone. And let's see, do we see a kicking tee coming into the ball game? We do. And so number 90, their kicker, John Provenza, is going to try a long field goal. Let's see, he's setting it up at around the 32. So this will be a 42-yard effort for Provenza. But we've got a quick timeout on the field. The clock is stopped. Let's take a 30-second break. You're listening to Bearcat Football.
Half a play, 42-7, the Bearcats on top. After a fumble recovery by the Hornets and a pass reception, they have the ball first and 10 on the Bearcat 25-yard line. They brought in the kicking tee, placing it down on about the 32, apparently setting up a 42-yard field goal try, but you wonder whether it's going to be a fake or whether, Bob, maybe this is one of these kicks to try to impress some college scout somewhere, because down 35 points, 3 points isn't going to help very much.
And, of course, when they get in district play over in Mississippi, they may be thinking down the road that this young kid with a strong leg, Provenza, may mean a win or a loss later on in the year. So he has got it set up as a 32, kicking toward the south, and this will be a 42-yard effort by Provenza. And he's got the leg into it, and it's going to come over to this near side. It hooked off to the left, and no good. So with 2 seconds to play, the Bearcats will take over. First and 10, up by a score of 42-7.
And, Bob, we've lost Ed somewhere.
I see him down in the band members down there.
He's...
Just don't follow the band out on the field, Ed.
I thought he'd been swallowed up by it, too, but we got 2 seconds left to go. T.J. Bryan checking in at quarterback, and I suppose he'll just hand the ball off as the Bearcats have a devastating 42-7 lead. 2 seconds to go in the first half.
Anxious to see all these stats at halftime, too, coming up, and we'll have all of that for you at halftime, so stay with us here on this beautiful Friday night. And a handoff over this left side. Big hole for Victor Robinson out to the 40-yard line, and that's going to be it. The end of the first half, and what a half it has been for the Bearcats. As they leave the field, our score is Ruston 42 and the Greenville Hornets 7. Keep in mind at the 6-minute mark of the first quarter, this game was all tied at 7 apiece as the Bearcats scored with less than a minute to play, with less than a minute gone in the first quarter, and then Greenville came back on a long, sustained drive to tie it 7-7. But since then, 35 unanswered points by Ruston, and they lead it as they head into the dressing room by a score of 42-7. So stay with us at halftime. We'll have all the stats, and we've got Ed down on the field right now.
Tonight's selections include Hey Look Me Over, Superman Fanfare, The Jetsons, and the Bearcat Fight Song. The Ruston High Band would like to take this opportunity to thank Essa Shoes and the Sportsmen for helping fund their new summer uniform. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bearcat territory.
This is Joe Black with Bob Dave, the play-by-play, and Ed Hebert on the sidelines. Let's take a 1-minute break as the Bearcats lead 42-7. You're listening to Bearcat football. Get out of the way, Ed. I think what Coach Gillum was saying, in part, that if Greenville's about to score, that you're not going to see the third-team defense in there. He's going to... That's right. So far, at least preseason, has been the defense, but a lot of points put on the board. Again, 14 of those 42 points on special teams. Bob, is this what you thought it would be this early?
Not at all, not at all. And I don't believe, talking with Coach Gillum a few times this week, it's certainly not what he thought it would be. As I said, he was planning on this defensive unit doing what they have done so far tonight, but I don't think in the wildest dreams of Coach Gillum he would have thought we would have had 42 points on the board at halftime. Of course, that score that Ed gave us just a few moments ago, Neville and Moss Point, that may be the biggest surprise in Louisiana high school football tonight, as Moss Point was taking on Neville tonight as a huge favorite. But the Neville Tigers, back to their old ways, leading Moss Point, as Ed said, 13-6 right now. And we're getting close to the second half kickoff. If you're just joining us, getting all set to start the second half, it's Ruston 42 and Greenville 7, getting set to start the third period of play. And the Bearcats will be kicking it to Greenville to start the second half, and big Josh Manning, number 81, will kick it away for the Bearcats as they are up 42-7 starting the second half. And a good crowd, very slim crowd over from Greenville, Mississippi, but a long, long ride that is for those folks. And the folks, as you just heard Randy a while ago, they're strictly loyal fans because every one of them that got here are still here. And Joe's trying to get us some further scores, and we hope to have some more for you coming up shortly as Josh Manning gets his foot into it. And it trails off to the left side and picked up around the 20-yard line, looking for some running room down that far sideline, up across the 25, out to about the 28-yard line. So that's where the Hornets will put it in play to start this second period. This second half, rather, the third period at their own 20, they mark it now at the 27-yard line. First down and 10 to go for the Hornets at their 27, down by a score of 42-7. And the quarterback, we will see Terrell Hemphill back in to lead this Hornet bunch, and here they come up to the line. As Hemphill spreads them out once again, this time lone set back behind him. Everyone else out on a wing, and pitching it back to that fullback, and coming around this left side out across the 30, up to about the 33, maybe to the 34-yard line, comes Elijah Johnson on the carry. And a gain of about 5. It'll bring up second down at about 5 for the Hornets at their own 33-yard line. Just getting the third period underway, 11 and a half minutes to play in this third period. 42-7. What a surprise and what an offensive showing in that first half by the Bearcats. Second and 5 for the Hornets. Man in motion to the right side. Hemphill drops back, looks for a receiver. It's intercepted, and it's going to be another 7 points for the Bearcats as number 45, Michael Green, picks it off and brings it down this near sideline and ups the score to 48-7. A 36-yard interception return for the touchdown by Michael Green, as he shot in front of the would-be receiver, picked it off, and was never touched going down this near side. And so once again, just as they did in that opening first half, the Bearcats have struck in less than a minute to play in the second half. It's 48-7. On an interception return for the touchdown by Michael Green, number 45, a 6'2", 175-pound senior. And certainly an all-state prospect. Already picked by several folks to be all-state this year in Class 5A. Okay, we'll attempt the point after. And number 23, Scotty Roan, will attempt this one, as Matt Willis apparently is through with the kicking toe for the night. 11:07 to play in the third. And let's see, we've got a delay of game coming up against the Bearcats, so they'll mark 5 yards off. and he will kick it 5 yards deeper. And let's see where they will set up. They'll set up at the 15-yard line, and holding will be T.J. Bryant. Rather, this is number 30, Trotter Hunt will hold. And we'll wait the snap. It's placed, it's kicked, it's up, and it's going to trail off to the left side, so it's no good. So as they come back on the field, 11:07 to play in the third. It's Ruston 48 and Greenville 7. A 60-second break. You're listening to Bearcat football.
Washita just scored.
And the kickoff and return back out to around the 30-yard line, maybe up to the 31 or 32, and that's where the Hornets will take over. First down and 10. 10:58 to play in the third. We've got a new score for you from that Neville-Moss Point game. It's now Neville 14 and Moss Point 14. Neville 14, Moss Point 14. It's all tied in the third. 48-7 our score. In case you're just joining us, the Bearcats on top of the Greenville Hornets.
Bob, I don't know what kind of job we do, but compared to our friends over at Washita's broadcasting team, we give the score more often. I just got it. Washita 21, Marshall 7 with 7:20 to go in the third quarter.
Okay, Washita up by a score of 21-7 over Marshall. First down and 10 for the Hornets. Hemphill dropping straight back. Hemphill cocks the arm, throws it as far as he can. It's about 15 yards over his would-be receiver. Closest man to it once again was Michael Green, back down around his own 30-yard line. Second down and 10 coming up for the Hornets as they are down by 41 points, 48-7 to the Bearcats.
Bob, as you mentioned, Michael Green and Matt Willis both were very close to the ball, and they were the only ones in the neighborhood. I wonder if their wide receivers have given up the gas, so to speak.
Okay.
Giving up the ghost?
Yeah.
Out of gas? It's still early in the season.
Second down and 10 for the Hornets. And once again, Hemphill will spread them out. Lone set back behind him. On a second and 10, and Hemphill dropping back. Rush is coming, and he is hit and knocked down, but the pass is going to be incomplete out around the 37-yard line. It was intended for Willie McVeigh, number 5.
And the quarterback, Hemphill, was punished by Victor Robinson. He got the pass off, but that was the last thing he saw other than stars, I believe, Bob. 10:43 to go in the third quarter. The Bearcats on top, 48-7.
Third down and 10 for the Hornets. Clock stopped, 10:43 in the third. The ball resting at the Hornet 31-yard line on this third and 10 play. And Hemphill calling a long play in that huddle. Finally breaks them out, and up to the line they come. And once again, he spreads them out, and one lone set back behind him. Man in motion to the right side this time. Hemphill back on a little counter play and hit and knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a loss of a couple of yards back around the 29-yard line. A head-on collision. Peace, Victor Robinson, and also that other big defensive end, Randall Anders. One of those bookends, Randall Anders and Josh Manning, at either side of that defensive line. Fourth down and 12.
Have you noticed how much bigger Randall Anders seems than last year?
Very much so. Josh
Manning is big, but Randall is, well, he's not as big, but he sure put on some weight. It looks like muscle weight. He looks real good out there.
6'3", they've got him listed at 225. Fourth down and 12. Hemphill dropping back, standing around his own 16, 17-yard line. Waits the snap. Good snap coming. Big rush coming, and gets the punt away. And it's going to be taken at the 39, up to the 45, to midfield. Comes number 20 on the return, Derek Moreland. And that's where the Bearcats will take over. First down and 10, right around that midfield stripe.
32-yard punt, 11-yard return. And the Bearcats take over first and 10, close to the midfield stripe as, I believe, yes, T.J. Bryan trotting onto the field, a quarterback for the Bearcats.
And they're going to mark the ball at the Bearcat 49-yard line. 49-yard line on this near hash, and here they come. With the new quarterback, T.J. Bryan, a 5'11", 165-pound senior. From the I formation, wing set to the left, to right end split out just a little bit, hands it off to that deep man in the I, number 42, to the 45-yard line of the Hornets, down to the 44, about the 43-yard line.
Corey Mason on the carry, Bob.
Well, we're going to see everybody that can possibly run the football tonight probably do it. We may have seen them all already tonight.
And you notice that Kenny Wright is in at a wide receiver. He had the long pass last week in the Jamboree and dropped it. Maybe T.J. Bryan will air it out. Let's see.
Michael Green was out there on that offensive set, too. He comes out on this play, though. Wing set to this right side, left end split out from an I formation. Give it off to the fullback. This is Victor Robinson. Robinson comes this near side, inside the 40, down to about the 38-yard line, and it's going to bring up first down and 10 for the Bearcats on the carry there by Victor Robinson. We may see a little extra Victor here in this second half on offense, Joe, with the score like it is right now, 48-7.
Well, every time he touched the ball last year,
it was exciting.
He was exciting, and he showed himself to be an excellent kick returner also last year, and some wondered why he wasn't used more, but he's an excellent ball carrier, and the Bearcats absolutely lose nothing at running back when he's in there.
Okay, here's a little wingback reverse. Number 44 on the carry this time. Cuts around this right side, inside the 35, down to about the 33-yard line. Kenny Wright on the carry, and it's going to bring up second down and about 5 yards to go. Well, maybe less than that for the Bearcats. Let's see where they mark it. It'll be closer to second down and 4. Second and 4 at the 33-yard line of the Hornets. The clock ticks them off. 8:19 and counting left here in this third period. 48-7. It's been all Ruston so far tonight.
Derek Moreland and Pat Frazier check into the lineup for the Bearcats. Josh Manning at a tight end on the left side.
Right end split out to this near side, wing to the left. Handed off to that tailback. Not much is there this time. On the carry is Corey Mason, and he may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard, down to about the 32-yard line. It'll bring up third down and close to 3 yards to go.
Bob Jeff Robinson, a 6-foot, 230-pound junior, seeing some action at center.
Third down, and, well, still we'll call it closer to 4. Split the left end out, the ball resting halfway between the hash marks. A wing set to this right side. That's number 44, Kenny Wright. And pitch it back to the tailback, and a big hole over this right side, inside the 30-yard line, down close to the 27-yard line for a first down run by Corey Mason on that third down play. It's going to be first down and 10 Bearcats at the 27-yard line of the Hornets at 7:15 left to play here in this third period.
Bob, I'm telling you, they lose nothing on the offensive line or any of the skill positions. I see Ray Peace in there at a tackle.
Josh Manning's also out there now.
And that says enough by itself.
Josh sits at the end on this side.
Turner at a left tackle.
Wing to this right side, and man in motion, and a pitch back to him, and the ball is on the ground, and let's see who's going to finally come up with it. Derek Moreland's back there fighting for it as the pitch went back to him, and if the Bearcats have got it, it's going to be a huge loss right at around the 39-yard line.
Looked like Moreland tried to pick it up like a basketball for just a moment rather than falling on it, and he almost lost possession, but fortunately held on to the ball. But as you mentioned, Bob, big loss. 6:25 left to go in the third quarter. The Bearcats on top, 48-7. The ball rests on the, let's call it Greenville 39-yard line, and let's call it second and about 22.
Second down coming. Wing set to the right, the left end is split out. And give it off on a handoff over this right side, and inside the 35, down to about the 32-yard line goes Corey Mason once again on the carry. It'll bring up third down and long yardage to go. And, Ed, we got a lot of folks sitting on the bench down there right now. Well, not sitting, standing on the sidelines that are through for the night, and they've had their exercise. Third down, about 16. Victor Robinson on the carry. Victor is inside the 25, down to about the 24-yard line. It's going to bring up fourth down, and still about 5-6 yards to go for a first.
Bob, interesting call here for Coach Gillum. Does he let Willis try a long field goal for practice purposes, or just go ahead and run it down and try to get the first down? And it looks like it's going to be the first down try.
The ball at the 25-yard line, and it's going to be fourth down and about 6. Fourth and about 6 at the Hornet 25. And here they come up to the line. Wing set to the right side. Right goes in motion to the left now, and Brian flags go down on the play. Brian looks for a receiver, and he's going to be hit, and he's going to be knocked down back out around the 28-yard line. As he hung on just too long, trying to wait for a receiver to get open. But hang on to your hats, though. We've got flags down on both sides of the field.
Bob, it looked like he couldn't find the open man, and wisely, not having a lot of experience, he held on to the ball and took the loss. Unfortunately, the Bearcats did not convert. The penalty was against the Bearcats, and on downs, Greenville will take over with 4 minutes, 40 seconds left to go, and still the third quarter of play. The Bearcats on top 48-7.
And the Hornets will take over, 1st and 10 at their own 27-yard line. First down and 10 for the Hornets, 4:40 left to play. And with that play, Joe, we see we're losing quite a few spectators right now.
Well, they're going to take their time out, go into the car and check and see a play maybe as they head through the gate, but they're certainly going to turn on to Kicks 107 and pick up this broadcast.
Make an early evening of it. First down and 10 for the Hornets at their own 27, down 48-7. And Hemphill pitches back to his fullback, and he's going to be hemmed in and knocked down back in the 26-yard line. A loss of a yard. It'll bring up 2nd and 11 for the Hornets.
Ben McFadden did a good job of slowing the play down, and all of a sudden he was joined by a host of other defenders, including Michael Gillum, who's seeing action on the defensive side of the ball, a starting offensive tackle. And again, we've mentioned it last week and particularly tonight, a lot of shifting, both not just first to second teamers, but offense to defense and vice versa.
Second down and about 11 to go for the Hornets. Hemphill brings them up to the line. Clock right now at exactly 4 minutes to play here in this third period. Man in motion to the right side. Hemphill dropping back. Rush is coming. Hemphill puts it way downfield. Complete! At the 50-yard line is McVeigh on a beautiful pass play from Hemphill. And McVeigh dropped immediately on a hard tackle at the 50-yard line.
Drayton was putting some pressure on Hemphill, but just didn't quite get to him, and a 26-yard pass reception by Hemphill, and they move the ball into Bearcat territory.
And where Hemphill was knocked down, they mark it at the 47-yard line of the Bearcats. First down and 10 Hornets, 3:40 and counting left here in this third period. 48-7, it's been all Bearcats here tonight. 42-7 it was at halftime. First and 10. Hemphill has him up. Man comes in motion to this near side. Hemphill back. Hemphill looks down. He's got a man there, but the ball is thrown a little too short and hits the ground about 2 yards short of the would-be receiver, and that was Gary Bush. Second and 10 at the Bearcat 47.
Bob, it looked like there was a little confusion by Greenville then. They had two receivers in the same area, and maybe that's what led to the incompletion in part, because they maybe both thought the other one was going to get it. Don't know. Second and 10, Bearcats on top, 48-7, 3:24 to go in the third quarter.
Second down and 10. Little quarterback keep by Hemphill. Nothing, absolutely nothing is there on that. And it'll bring up third down and 10. Boy, what a surprise. Big surprise there as the Devil Tigers are showing their old stuff, as they were big underdogs in that game to a very, very strong Moss Point team. Well, they give him a yard on it. It'll be third down and 9. Third and 9 at the 46 of the Bearcats. Man in motion. Give it to this man in motion coming around the left side. He's inside the 45, down to about the 44, maybe the 43.5, and will bring up fourth down and long for the Hornets at the Bearcat 43.5.
Bob, I have to make a comment on our colleague on the sidelines. You remember what Coach Dunbar was telling the defensive players to relax? I don't think I've seen Ed walk that far, and he's pacing that sidelines just like Bear Bryant used to.
Yeah.
I look for the tweed jacket next week.
Ed, I don't remember what coach you said told you early in the ball game. Is this going to be a game where the last one with the ball wins? Check with him again, Ed. Big rush on Hip Hill, but he gets the pass away, and it's complete down the far sideline and inside the 30, inside the 25-yard line. Hustling downfield is Hip Hill for the Hornets of Greenville, Mississippi, on a pass completion from Terrell Hip Hill. Now, whether they're brothers or not, I'm not sure.
And Bob, as Coach Gillum diplomatically said earlier, it would depend on what spot of the field the team and the ball was as to who was playing, and you see about 4 or 5 starters and
on defense back out there.
That's right.
Okay, it's first down and 10 at the Bearcat 22-yard line for the Hornets. And now let's see what this defense can do. Hip Hill on a give, trying this left side. That big fullback, and not much is there. In fact, nothing is there. He may have lost a yard, maybe 2 yards, back out to the 24-yard line. It'll bring up second down and a good 11 and a half yards to go back at the Bearcat 24. We're we're at a minute 15 right now left in the third.
The ooh and ah you heard from the crowd that time. Victor Robinson had him by the leg, and Richard Anderson just leveled him, really hit him hard.
Second down for the Hornets at the Bearcat 24-yard line. They come to the line once again with a double wing setup this time. Left end split far out to this near side, and one of those wing backs comes in to motion to this left side and give the ball to him, and he's going to be tripped up and knocked down around the 20-yard line. It'll bring up third down and about 7 yards to go. Third down and about 7. Randall Landers coming back down that defensive unit. Coming out is James Drayton. The ball right at the 20-yard line of the Bearcats. Third down and 7. 25 seconds and counting left here in this third period. Ruston up by a score of 48-7 right now. But the Hornets threaten. Man in motion around that right side and hit and knocked down back into 21, 22-yard line. And number 34, Kevin Stinson, really put him on the ground.
Bob, that was textbook. Kevin Stinson is not one of the most talked about of the Bearcat defensive backs, or defenders for that matter, with the likes of Michael Green and Kenny Wright.
Okay.
He really did it well then.
Beautiful play, and it's going to bring up fourth down and about 8 yards to go when we come back. But that's the end of 3 here at James Field. After 3 periods, it's Ruston 48, Greenville 7. Let's take a 60-second break. You're listening to Bearcat Football.
5 through the air, 266 and 13 first downs. Greenville 62 on the ground, 129 through the air, 187 yards, and 7 first downs. And here's a field goal attempt.
This is from about the 28, making it a 38-yard attempt, and flags are down everywhere before the play could really get started. It's a 4th down and 9 for the Hornets. Just getting set to get this 4th period underway. And procedure penalty, so 5 yards will be stepped off against the Greenville Hornets and move them back 5 yards. And now what will they do? 48-7 starting the 4th and final period.
The way he's kicked those last 2 long ones, I wouldn't try to kick again. He wasn't anywhere close.
Let's see. Apparently they're going to continue to try it, though, and this is going to put it back outside the 30. So this is going to make it a very long one. Well, Hemphill's coming back in, so apparently they're going to go for it. So Hemphill is back in on a 4th down and 13. 4th and 13. The ball at the Bearcat 26-yard line. So Hemphill's back in at quarterback, and they come up in that same formation that they've run about 90% from tonight. And Hemphill dropping straight back, trying to set up a screen pass, and he's just going to sling this one straight out of bounds, way across the way. And the Bearcat defense is held, and they will take over at their own 26-yard line.
And the reason he slung it the way he did was Victor Robinson was on a blitz, and Hempill decided I either live and throw the ball away or get killed, and he decided to throw it away.
Okay, so it is 1st down and 10 to go for the Bearcats. 1st down and 10 to go. Bearcats at their own 26-yard line. And what we've got breaking in right now, I'm not real sure. Okay, but anyway, here we go. 1st down and 10 at the 26-yard line of Ruston, up by a score of 48-7 right now. 11:51 to play here in this football game. And we've got a break out there, so we'll wait and see what's going to be happening. And Let's see. We've got a penalty on the flag on the ground, so 5 yards is fixing to be stepped off against the Greenville Hornets up to the 31-yard line. 5 yards against Greenville. Moves the ball out to the 31-yard line.
Bob, my big word of the night, noteworthy. Noteworthy is that Meeks is back in the ball game. 11:48 to go in the ball game.
And up by a score of 48-7. Now, let's see. We've got another break, so Greenville takes a timeout. So we've got a break in the action with 11 minutes and 40 seconds to play in this football game. Ruston 48 and Greenville 7. Let's take a 30-second break. You're listening to Bearcat Football.
On their own 31-yard line, 41-point lead, and Meeks at quarterback. Bob?
Well, we didn't think we would see him anymore tonight, but here he is, Bo Meeks, and Bo's going to drop back and sling one downfield. He's got a man wide open at the 45 to midfield, and he's got a block, and Hunter's going to go to the 10, and he's going to be knocked down just inside the 10 around the 6-yard line. Couldn't quite get it all the way there.
Bob, I just saw his dad jump about 3 feet in the air like he used to when he played ball for Georgia Tech, and Trotter was a real good job on that 63-yard pass play, Meeks to Trotter Hunt, and that looked like he was going to score, just didn't quite make it.
And apparently that was Bo Meeks' night, and so he's coming out of the ball game after completing one more pass and getting him a few extra yards on his stat sheet tonight. It is 1st and goal to go Bearcats at the 8-yard line of the Greenville Hornets. Put a man out wide to his left side, and a wing set to the right side. 1st and goal to go at the 8. In motion, coming to this side is Hunt, pitching it back, and coming around this left side as flags go down inside the 5, down to about the 1-yard line, but keep in mind, as we said, we've got flags down, and let's see, on the carry, who is that?
Couldn't tell, Bob. I was trying to call a new number. Patrick Ramsey in a quarterback for the Bearcats for his first action, illegal procedure against the Cats. Ramsey is...
That was Jeremy Brooks, one of the JV players promoted up to the roster tonight on that carry.
And Ramsey, as I was mentioning, 6'2", 190-pound sophomore. Bob, we watched him in the Jamboree last week. Of course, he's not going to throw it deep down here, but he's got an excellent throwing motion, and probably the future quarterback for the Bearcats as early as next year, since Brian is also a senior. I want to say something about T.J. Bryan. He's a senior. Won't see much action perhaps later down the road, but he is an excellent quarterback also.
Okay, penalty against the Bearcats. Give it off once again, and a touchdown for number 24, Jeremy Brooks. Jeremy Brooks promoted up for tonight's game from the JV team at 10:35 to play in this football game. It's Ruston 54 and Greenville 7.
Bob, that was a 13-yard trot by Jeremy Brooks. And let's see who's going to try the extra point. Willis did not try the last one, so he's still perfect on the night. But don't you know that young junior who was brought up from the junior varsity, Coach Gillum, saying he was going to reward some of the ones that put in a little extra effort, is really thrilled to get his first varsity touchdown.
Well, it had to be a thrill for him, and here's the point after, and no good. So as they come back up the field, 10:35 to play in the game, it's Ruston 54 and Greenville 7, a 60-second break. You're listening to Bearcat Football.
54-7 as the junior from the junior varsity coming up, Jeremy Brooks, scores on a 13-yard run with 10:35 to go in the ball game. Meeks now is 6 of 7 through the air for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hemphill for Greenville is 125 yards through the air, and Matt Willis is set to kick off for the Bearcats. Bob?
Okay, and Matt's foot into it. Good high end over end kick down to around the 13-yard line. Coming up this near side and going to be hit and hemmed in and knocked down around the 26-yard line of the Hornets. That's where Greenville will take over. 1st down and 10 at that point.
Brandon Lewis on the coverage for the Bearcats, 5'10", 160-pound senior.
10 minutes and 15 seconds and counting left in this football game. 54-7, the Bearcats on top. And the Greenville Hornets take over. 1st down and 10 at their own 28-yard line. And let's see, Hemphill will continue to do the quarterbacking, and here he comes out on the field.
You ready to send it down?
1st down and 10 at their own 28. 10 minutes and 11 seconds left in the football game. Don't forget, next Friday night now, the Bearcats will take the first trip of this 1994 season as we'll head to El Dorado, Arkansas to meet the El Dorado Wildcats next Friday night. Man in motion to the left, and Hip Hill drops back. Hip Hill pumps once, pumps twice, puts it out there. It's complete to McVeigh, and McVeigh's going to be hustled down. Well, nope, he is not dead yet. He's to midfield, and is finally caught from behind and dropped around the 40-yard line of the Bearcats. Well, Joe, they had all kind of opportunities to get a hold of him, but just couldn't hang on. And Josh Manning is limping coming off the football field.
That was a 33-yard pass reception, but more importantly, Josh Manning is hobbling off the field, and we're going to check that out. Ed, if you can try to follow that down there and buzz me when you're ready, let's see if we can figure out what it is.
Okay, Hip Hill comes to this near side. Now he reverses, and he is way back to his own 40-yard line. Looks for a block. Got one. He is down the far side. Now he's going to sling it as far as he can, and he goes end over end and sails out of bounds. Well, he put everything he had to that one, Joe, and it slipped out of his hand, and it looked like a kickoff.
Bob, it looked like
he must have run 150 yards.
I was going to say, he looked like he did a full lap around the track before he had an opportunity to throw it. One of our defenders, I think, ran out of steam, and Hip Hill just threw it, but he didn't have anything.
Well, after a play like that, somebody needs to call timeout because you know everybody's dead on their feet. Okay, Ed, what have you got on Josh?
Well, you got Joe Dan Martin and Ray Peace down there
doing the work on him. Hand off on this right side and up way back outside the 40-yard line. Around the well, they're going to give him forward progress to the 41. The loss of a couple, it's going to bring up 3rd down and 12.
Bob, I know that he's a backup, but Zach Yates has really looked good to me tonight in the backup position. He made the touchdown-saving tackle a moment ago, and he's been in on just about every play when he's been out there. A lot of hustle by this backup linebacker for the Bearcats, Zach Yates.
Well, he's getting seen tonight for sure. It's going to be 3rd down and 12. The ball resting at the Bearcat 41-yard line. 8:43 and counting left in this football game. 54-7. It's been all Ruston tonight. Same formation, man in motion left. Hip Hill dropping back again. Here comes the rush. Shoots the pass out there. It's complete to McVeigh, but McVeigh is going to be ridden out of bounds across the way, short of a first down, but we've also got flags down back up where Hip Hill was hit. And let's see what we've got. Flag is resting at the Greenville 43-yard line.
We may have
roughing the passer, probably. That's what we've got. Roughing the passer against the Bearcats. So that's a big break for Greenville as they were going to come up well shy of a first down on that 3rd down play.
Bob, I think about the only break Greenville wants right now is for the clock to run out.
Probably so. Probably so.
8:26 left to go in the ball game. The Bearcats on top, 54-7. No scoring in this half by the offense. Well, I take that back. One touchdown, the other on a interception return, but the Bearcats kind of letting up a little bit on the offensive end, and Greenville threatening to score. The ball on the 21-yard line, 1st and 10.
First down for the Hornets at the Bearcat 21-yard line, and here they come to the line. That same formation that they started with tonight, and they run everything out of it, put a man in motion, and this is McVeigh, and McVeigh's going to be dropped back at the 22-yard line, maybe the 23-yard line, a loss on the play by Chad Thompson. 8 minutes exactly left in this football game. It will bring up 2nd down and about 11. They mark it at the 22. 2nd and 11. A loss of a yard back out to the 22-yard line. Clock running, 7:45 and moving left in this football game. 54-7. Ruston on top of the Hornets from Greenville, Mississippi. 2nd down, the ball on this near hash, same formation, man in motion left this time, and Hip Hill's dropping back, rush is coming, And he breaks out of containment and puts the pass down there, and it's going to be complete. A beautiful shoestring catch at the 10-yard line, and he trips and stumbles and falls back out to about the 14-yard line. And that is Ross Bales on the catch.
And a little bit of post-play discussion with Michael Callender and Derek Cheney with the receiver, but the official in to break it up.
It will bring up third down and about 3 yards to go. Third down and 3. 6:53, 52, 51 and counting left in this football game. And here come the Hornets up to the line on a third down and about 3 from the 14 of the Bearcats. And motion once again. This is Bales on the carry, and Bales will score. Bales on the touchdown carry as the Hornets have managed to put one more on the board. It's 54-13, 6:34 left in this football game.
And Bob halfway anticipated seeing the first team out on the field before that play, but they didn't send them out there. They're sent out there now for the extra point situation, but he left the reserves in there, and the score at 6:34 brings the score Ruston 54, Greenville 13, and let's see if they go for 2. No, they're going to kick the 1 extra point.
One thing about this Greenville football team, they are loaded with freshmen. That gentleman who just scored is also a freshman. And the point after is no good. Off to the left. So as they come back upfield, 6:34 in the football game, it's Ruston 54, Greenville 13. A 60-second break. You're listening to Bearcat Football.
The onside kick, Bob.
I'll get the ball on this near hash mark, and winning the kick from number 90, Provenza. And he approaches the ball, no onside kick, kicks it all the way down, and it's going to be rolling around, finally picked up around the 17-yard line coming upfield, and got that ball carrying it way out in front of him as Marcus Roan, but makes it back out to about the 30-yard line, maybe just across where the Bearcats will put it in play. First down and 10 to go at that point. 54-13.
I think we have a final on the Neville Moss Point game, Ed.
Must have been a whale of a ball game, as the Tigers really must have played a great ball game tonight against, as we said earlier, a team that was heavily favored over the Neville Tigers and had just annihilated them last year in a game. First and 10 Bearcats, and here's a pitch back to the tailback coming around this side. Gets one block and is out to about the 40-yard line and going to be very close to a Bearcat first down. And hustling up the field with the football is number 26, Albert Dubose, fullback. He is a sophomore off the junior varsity team, another one of the fellows promoted into tonight's action.
Bob, you mentioned something a moment ago, and I think that's the reason Marcus Roan doesn't play anymore. He's got just about world-class speed, but he's always seemed to carry that ball out from his body, very prone to fumble, and that's probably why he doesn't see more playing time. T.J. Bryan in at quarterback.
Injury on the play, Harry Walker being taken off the field for the Greenville Hornets. Okay, it is second down and just about a half yard to go for the Bearcats. The ball at the 39.5-yard line of Ruston. 6:01 to play in this football game, 54-13. The Bearcats on top. And let's see, we've got a break in the action as Greenville takes a timeout. So timeout with our score, 54-13, 5:55 to play in this football game. Let's take a 30-second break. You're listening to Bearcat Football.
5 seconds left to go in the ball game. The Bearcats on top, 54-10. If you just missed that score that Ed passed on, a final score, Moss Point, Mississippi, 20, Neville 14. And Bob, for those who said that Neville might have an off year, some friend of mine was mentioning that to me the other day, and I said, I laughed because this is District 2-5A, and anybody that plays a team in this district has got the work cut out for them. And Moss Point may have been heavily favored, but you can't count anybody in this district out anytime.
The Tigers have proven that tonight as they almost pulled a big upset against Moss Point. Well, it is second down and about maybe a foot to go for a first down for the Bearcats when we get back into play here. The ball resting at the Bearcat 39.5-yard line. 5:55 left in this ball game. and it's 54-13, our score. Bearcats on top, and a first down run and more out to near midfield for the Bearcats, and that is number 24, Jeremy Brooks, once again, as we're seeing these JVs promoted up for tonight's game really put on a show here in this fourth period, Joe.
Bob, that was almost a very interesting, simple touchdown because Greenville was very slow coming out on defense, and Brian was trying to hustle his troops up to the line of scrimmage to get a quick snap off, but they couldn't get it off quite in time.
Mark it at the Bearcat 49, first down and 10. Wide out to the right side. Give it off once again to the fullback, and this is another of those JVs, Albert Dubose, number 26, a sophomore, and he's got plenty of first down yardage, and, he's going to be just about a half-yard shy of another Bearcat first down at the 41.5-yard line of the Hornets.
Bob, Jeff Foster, a sophomore, checking in, another JV, and Patrick Ramsey, a quarterback. We were talking about it during the break. I'd like to see him throw it. I know that Coach Gillum probably doesn't want to run up the score, but I'd love to see Ramsey throw that ball. He's got an excellent arm.
As you said, we saw that last Friday night, a very strong arm. And inside the 40, down to about the 37, 38-yard line. First down yardage, first and 10 Bearcats with 4:44 to play in this football game. That was Brooks once again on the carry. Number 80 into the ball game, Pat Frazier for this Ruston offensive unit. First down and 10 at the 38-yard line of the Hornets. First and 10 Bearcats.
Greg Goldsmith, an offensive tackle, seeing some action, a sophomore.
We've got a lot of sophomores in there right now. The backfield is composed of sophomores. As Ramsey gets them squared away and gets them set back there now. Man in motion to the right, and a pitch back to him. Number 20 looks for some blockers. Now he's going to cut and come back this way, and will be dropped and lose about 2, maybe 3 yards as Derek Moreland on the carry. Derek's had some good plays, and then he's had a couple of bad plays on the night.
That one just, apparently the blocking broke down or something, or he didn't.
And he tried to make something out of nothing and just couldn't quite do it.
That's a funny-looking play. You almost can see a halfback pass coming out of that at some time later in the year with that little pitch in the deep cut by the running back, but it didn't develop that time.
Out at the 40-yard line, it will be second down, and another Hornet has been injured and walking off the field. That is, let's see if we can find his name. That's Samuel McPherson. Samuel McPherson. At the 40-yard line of the Bearcats, it's second down and a long 12 with the clock now moving once again. 3:52 left in this football game. Wing set left, in split to the right. And the ball's on the ground, and let's see who's got it. Yeah, I believe Greenville had it at one time. Whether they're able to hang on to it or not, let's see. And they do. Greenville has got it.
Ramsey just couldn't quite get the handle on it, dove for it, but there were a couple of defenders there, and with the turnover, Greenville takes over first and 10 on their own 44-yard line, down 54-13. This one was decided quite some time ago. 3:34 left to go in the ball game. Again, a final score: Moss Point beat Neville 20-14, and the last score we had on Washita Marshall, Washita was on top 21-7 in the third quarter.
Okay, at their own 44-yard line, here come the Hornets. 3:34 left in this football game. Man in motion to the left, and Hip Hill is dropping back. Hip Hill puts it out into the flat, and it's complete for first down yardage. And that is McVeigh, and the ball is on the ground, and let's see. And the officials say the Bearcats have got it. So a fumble comes right back from the Hornets after they had just recovered a fumble. And the Bearcats have got it right around the midfield mark. Let's see which side they put it on. And they'll put it on the Bearcat side. That's the length of the football inside the Bearcat into the playing field. With 3:21 to play in this football game, 54-13, Ruston on top of Greenville. And the Bearcats with the ball on the far hash. And Ramsey, Patrick Ramsey back in at quarterback. The ball on the far hash. First down and 10 at midfield. And give it off to Brooks, Jeremy Brooks over this left side. He's inside the Greenville into the playing field to about the 49-yard line. It'll be second down and about 9 yards to go. Coming up on the 3-minute mark left in this football game. Stay with us. Of course, we'll have Coach Billy Gillum up in the press box after the game is over and see how he feels about all the goings-on that took place here tonight. Okay, we spread everybody out to this left side. Man in the slot to this side, and Ramsey pitches back to, this is Dubose, and Dubose trying to find a block or two, and finally picks up one block and may have gained a yard down to about the 48-yard line after all of that running, and it'll bring a third down and about 8 yards to go for the Bearcats. 2:25 and counting left in this football game. That has been all Ruston. It was 42-7 at halftime. It is 54-13 right now. The Bearcats with 2 touchdowns here in the second half, and Greenville with 1. Third down and 8. The ball at the 48 of Greenville. And Ramsey's going to drop back and put it in the air, and he shoots it down there, and it is complete to his big tight end, J.P. Love, who was hit immediately, Joe, but he still managed to hang on to that football.
Bob, I'm not sure it wasn't before immediately. I think that was very close to interference, but a 20-yard pass, and that's what I was talking about a minute ago. When you see that on the playback, Patrick Ramsey has a very fluid, smooth throwing motion. Good reception by J.P. Love, and good things even at that third-string level, at the quarterback level for the Bearcats.
29-yard line of the Hornets, a minute 45 left in the football game, and give it off to Dubose to the 10, maybe to the 9-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. It may be first and goal to go with a minute 36 to play.
Bob Albert Dubose, I think, was getting up frustrated. He looked like he had touchdown. He had a couple defenders to beat. He was trying to put some moves on, and he kept scooting up the field. They finally caught him, but he was very close to pay dirt.
Well, let's see if this sophomore JV backfield can get a touchdown in there in the closing seconds. And give it off to Brooks, and Brooks is going to be to the 5. Brooks scores from 9 yards out. Jeremy Brooks with a minute 25 left in this ball game. It's Ruston 60 and Greenville 13.
And Bob, they shuffled in about every player that they could have. No running the score up there. Third and long. Beautiful pass from Ramsey to Love, and a couple of nice runs in there by DeBose and Brooks, and you can't say anymore. If somebody didn't play tonight for the Bearcats, they're injured.
They sure are injured.
And they all played well.
They've all played well.
Special team coverages both ways, both on the return and the coverage. Good effort by Bearcats from top to bottom.
Okay, and the extra point try. Matt Willis will attempt it again, and it's kicked, it's up, and it is good. So as they come back up the field with a minute 25 left in this football game, it's Ruston 61, Greenville 13, a 60-second break. You're listening to Bearcat football.
61-13, Willis set to kick off, and back to you, Bob.
Okay, as puts into it, high end over end kick, selling down to about the 13-yard line. Taken there and heading up that far side and hit and knocked down. And the officials say his knee touched around the 23-yard line. And with a minute 17 left in this football game, that's where the Hornets will take over. First and 10 at their own 23-yard line, down by a score of 61-13.
Good job of coverage by Marcus Roan downfield for the Bearcats. Again, as we mentioned a little while ago, good effort by everybody on the field on every play. I think that's the storyline of this game tonight, Bob, because we scored in just about every imaginable way, returning interceptions, kick returns, punt returns, good blocks, good defensive play, offensive play, great effort across the board.
First down and 10 as the Hornets will put it in the air now and try desperately to get one more shot at that goal line. And Hemphill puts the ball in the air, and it's short and will drop to the ground, and it'll bring up second down and 10. And that used 8 seconds. It's a 1:09 showing on the clock right now as the Bearcats will go 1-0 on the season and prepare to head north next Friday night into Arkansas, and will meet the El Dorado Wildcats. The El Dorado Wildcats, they were coming off a loss tonight. They lost last week, and I believe they're playing Conway tonight. I believe that was what the coaches were telling me. And we didn't have a score on that game from up in Arkansas tonight. But the Bearcats and El Dorado next Friday night at El Dorado. Look forward to seeing you there. Second down and 10 to go for the Hornets. Man comes in motion. That's McVeigh to this near side. Hemphill, he's retreating and finally puts the ball in the air, and it's complete to McVeigh out around the 39-yard line. And the clock has stopped with 57 seconds to play in the football game as they move the chains forward on the first down completion by Hemphill to McVeigh out to the 39-yard line.
Derek Cheney on a hard hit that time after the pass looked like it was potential interception bait, but came down in the right hands for Greenville with 54 seconds to go. The ball
And the clock moving.
The ball on their 39-yard line and down by many points.
Hemphill has him up to the line. Same formation, that double wing. And man in motion to the left. And Hemphill retreats, dropping back. Looks downfield. He's being chased. And he gets the ball away and throws it way down and overthrown down around the 15-yard line. And that will stop the clock with 29 seconds left in this football game. 61-13, the Bearcats winning this one.
In the for what it's worth department, that was very close to a touchdown. Just about a yard over the receiver's head, and he had the defender beat with 29 seconds to go. The Bearcats with a 48-point lead, 61-13, second and 10 on the Greenville 39.
29 seconds left in this football game, and everybody now just wanting to get it over with and get out of here without anyone getting hurt on either side. Hemphill brings them up. 29 seconds left. And that clock will start as soon as the ball is snapped. And here's a little counter play to McVeigh. McVeigh to midfield. McVeigh to the 45, to the 44-yard line of the Bearcats. And that will stop it once again on the first down play as they move the chains with 21 seconds left in this football game. 21 seconds left. 61-13. The Bearcats winning this football game. 20 seconds now. The clock moving as the Hornets come up to the line from the 44-yard line of the Ruston Bearcats. Hemphill has them, and Hemphill retreats. Drops back. He's got a receiver out across that far side over there. He dodges one man, dodges two, dodges three, and the football game is over as the receiver is down around the 25-yard line of the Bearcats. But a big, big win tonight for Ruston as they have defeated Greenville by a score of 61-13 to start the 1994 season. Well, stay with us now. We'll look forward to getting Coach Billy Gillum up to the press box and having Billy's comments and words of wisdom and his thoughts about opening the season in a big, big way, the way the Bearcats have done here tonight. So stay with us. The final score, Ruston 61 and Greenville 13. Let's take...
Take a 60-second break and then hear from Coach Billy Kellum. You're listening to Bearcat Football.